What are you guys doing? We heard on announcements that back to school night's tonight. Okay. So our backs are to the school. I don't think that's what that means.
Well, what do you mean?
I don't know, but you can find out because Education Today starts now. Welcome to Education Today. I'm Kayla Spencer.
And I'm Taylor Eastlick of West Shamokin High School in the Armstrong School District. Every school year begins with the same types of events. Fall sports practices lead into the first games and matches of the seasons. Students make new friends and even catch up with old ones, and then they begin to bring home homework. Another important aspect of the beginning of each school year is the annual back-to-school nights.
Each school has a designated back-to-school night where parents are invited into their student's school to speak with teachers and take a look around. But why are these nights so important? To help us see both sides of the question, we have with us Paula Berry, West Hills Primary Principal, and Tom Dinga, who is the principal at Lenape Elementary. Welcome to Education Today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Would you please introduce yourselves to our viewers and tell us how long you've been with the district?
My name is Tom Dinga. I've been in the district. This is my 34th year. And I've been at Lenape Elementary for the majority of those years. And it's been great because it was my hometown. I grew up, went to Fort City, so it worked out really well.
Okay, and my name is Paula Berry. I've been in the Armstrong School District for 14 years as a teacher and a principal. And being at West Hills Primary is kind of my home school also. That's where I attend.
With the number of buildings in our district, sometimes principals are moved around. To help us show our viewers the wide range of experience you have, what buildings have you worked in within the district?
I had, way back when, I had one subbing year back in 77, 78, way before you guys were born. And I subbed that particular year in 9 buildings, most of which are now closed. But since I was hired officially, I've been at Lenape 31 and a half of my 34 years. So I've been pretty fortunate to be in the same building, either as a teacher or principal. I did have a couple of years out at Elderton and Katanning Township as a principal about 10 years ago.
And as a teacher, I taught at North Buffalo Elementary and also at Lenape Elementary with Mr. Dinga. As a principal, I was at Dayton Elementary for 4 years, and now at West Hills Primary, this is my 2nd year.
Okay, well, back to school nights, what's the benefits of parents who attend?
It's always a great night. It's the one night of the year where the most parents are in our building, and the obvious reason would be for parents to meet their teachers. It's a couple weeks into school. They've had some communication through homework books and maybe some emails, but to meet teachers face to face is always a positive. As we've always said, if we get parents and teachers communicating, we can solve any issues. So that's like the first step in communication for the year is back to school night.
I think one of the benefits I have with back to school night is just myself as a principal being in the hallways, meeting the parents as they come in as well. A lot of times the parents get to see their teachers, meet the teachers at that night and other nights, parent conference nights and so on, but I don't always get that opportunity as much. So I try to be out there as much as I can so they can get to meet me as well.
What benefit does this serve for teachers?
Well, for this year in particular, because of the closing of Katanning Township Elementary, a lot of those students came to our building. So our teachers get to meet students for the first time, not only at their grade level, but from another building. And certainly for those parents from Katanning Township, it was an important night for them to be in the building and meet teachers and kind of get a little bit of the layout of the building for some of those who weren't able to make it in the summer when we had our visitations for those parents.
I think the benefits for parents is they get to see how the teacher's going to manage her classroom and how the teacher's going to manage homework books. At West Hills Primary this year, we began a new program, the Positive Behavior Support Program, so they reviewed that with them. So I think the parents get a lot of that interaction with the teachers that you don't always get through an email or a letter.
Do these nights help benefit the students at all, and are they invited to the night as well with their parents?
Typically, we send in our memo home. The students aren't required to come, though the majority really enjoy showing off their room and their work to their parents, so they don't have to come. I think probably the benefit, if students do come with their parents, is certainly that connection. The student knows the teacher now has met the parent, and sometimes that goes a long way when you get into homework and other types of situations.
I was just going to add to that for the students, because I think, like we do say that they aren't required to come because teachers do a presentation, but what the children do get is being proud to walk through the building and see meet all of their teachers.
Realizing you can only really speak to your individual schools, what kind of attendance do you typically see during these evenings? How about you, Ms. Berry Start?
Typically, I have a primary building, so K to 3, we have a lot of parents and children that come through. Matter of fact, I have to stagger my times because of the amount of parents coming into the building. I usually get, if there's 25 students, there's probably at least 18 to 20 parents that come in for each classroom. So at the primary level, there's a lot of interest and there's a lot of parents there.
And how about you, Mr. Dingo?
I would say that's pretty close to the same. We're about 70 to 80% on most of our classrooms because we do take attendance and who showed up and who didn't. This year we had to have 2 separate nights because of the amount of students we had, and we didn't want to be overcrowded on those evenings. What's interesting anymore, though, with the busy schedules you'll have, as we also try to stagger the times, you'll have students and parents coming in from maybe halfway through from a soccer game or dance practice. So even if they don't make it to full time, they do try to get there as well as they can.
As principals, do you benefit in any way during these evenings?
Well, I think Paul already mentioned it, just standing in a hallway for a couple hours. In my case, I have a little bit of an advantage. It's my 9th year as a principal at Lenape. And having taught there way back when, I have a lot of parents who are now ex-students of mine years ago. So there's continue to communicate and you get to see parents coming through. And once again, the new parents that may not have met you yet get a chance to meet. So it's a great evening. We really enjoy it. And like I said, all that communication is certainly a positive.
Sounds very nice.
I get real excited when I see that many people because it does show that there's that many parents and students that still, excited to come into a building. And then the benefit of meeting them and just seeing their smiling faces as they come in the door. So.
Is there a noticeable difference that you have seen in students whose parents attend these evenings from the students whose parents may not attend?
I don't know if I'd say noticeable. But I think, as Paula mentioned, they're certainly proud, and they'll come back the next day or two and they'll say, did you see my mom? Did you see my dad? Same thing to the teacher. They'll say, did you talk to him? So there's that feeling. I think at the elementary level, there's a lot of enthusiasm to begin with. So kids are really anxious and happy, and school's fun for them. And so I don't think there's a noticeable uptick, but there's certainly that pride factor.
And if anything, if you notice when they don't come, they're disappointed. And there's probably something with the parent schedule or something to that effect. So you see the disappointment in the kids that aren't able to attend.
Okay, thanks very much. We're going to take a short break and we'll be right back with Armstrong School District's Education Today.
You guys are doing.
Before I came to IUP, I had no idea what college would be like or what role I would play or where I'd be in the future. But when I came to IUP, everything changed. I met people who really made me feel like I belonged. I had great classes at a great nationally ranked university. Hi, my name is Megan Miller. I'm a fine arts major, and this is my university.
We're back with Armstrong School District's Education Today. We're talking about the importance of back-to-school nights with two of ASD's elementary principals, Paula Berry and Tom Dinga. What all actually takes place at the back-to-school nights?
Well, as parents, as Paula said, we try to stagger our times because the hard part for us is it's hard to make it perfect because there might be a parent that has a student in first grade and a student in third grade, and those times may be at the same time. They have to split mom and dad. Once the program actually starts, the teacher is going to review with them their curriculum. Every teacher has different procedures and classroom management types of styles, and just kind of in general fill in the parents on what those would be.
At my kindergarten, they typically do something a little bit different than that because they have a kindergarten orientation at the beginning of the year to go over the curriculum. What they do is a typical, they do it like a scavenger hunt within the classroom, something fun with the students when they're there and their parents so they can show the classroom. First, second, third, they do they review the curriculum highlights, which is going over the curriculum. They have like a short presentation again of what their classroom expectations are. And this year they were to go over our school-wide positive behavior support program so everyone would understand what we were doing.
As a principal, is there anything you look specifically on these nights?
Just look for a lot of smiling faces, basically, and we usually get that. Parents and kids seem to really enjoy the evenings. I know the teachers are excited because it really gives them a chance to meet the majority of their parents in one take and really get a chance to explain what they do and how the year's going to lay out, share email addresses, communication things, and it's just a real positive night. So we look forward to an enthusiastic night, and it usually turns out it's always that way.
I'm just the exact same. I mean, just to see everyone enthusiastic and smiling coming into the building.
How do you prepare the staff for these evenings?
Well, I get the advantage. I'm really fortunate to watch. We have over 55 staff. We have an incredible staff. They're fabulous teachers. And as many years as I've been around, it's really the best staff that I can remember. What I try to tell them is what I see every day is their enthusiasm and their caring for kids, and make sure that shows through to the parents, to really show the parents how much they enjoy doing what they do and why they're in this profession, and make sure that comes across. And they do a great job of doing that.
Really, the teachers at West Hills Primary are just outstanding also, and they've done back-to-school nights for many years. So preparing them really is just, at the faculty meeting, I kind of talk a little bit about what to cover, which they already are pretty much aware of what to do. And then I send an email reminder before back-to-school night, make sure you cover these things. But the preparation is really in what they've done for many years.
If a parent missed the back-to-school night, how can they obtain info that may have missed or contact their students' teachers?
I would say most teachers, usually when you walk in the room, they'll have, depending on the grade level, a little packet or a little pile of things that they prepared for the parent. And if the parent doesn't come, as Paula said, that's disappointing for the student, but that packet just basically, whatever they've saved goes home with the student the next day with a little note.
And that's the same at West Hills Primary. They send a packet home of everything they missed.
What other types of similar events are held throughout the school year?
That, in particular, back to school night, because of our numbers of students, we're around 830 students now, so those nights have the most adults in the building at one time, so those are our busiest nights. The other events that come close to that are end of the year course concerts or Christmas concerts, either band or chorus. But other than that, That's back to school's like the biggest night really we have attendance-wise.
Yeah, I was trying to think, because being a primary building, K to 3, we have 702 students, and that is the biggest night, other than, because we don't have chorus and band. We do have wellness activities. It's after school. Parents have to come with their students, with their children, so that would be the next, big event to have all the parents.
It's nice that you're involving the parents in the kids' education.
Thanks.
Let's talk about those parent-teacher conferences. How often do they take place, and what times of the year are they held?
Well, the back to school night is a perfect segue through that, because the parents that come that evening, the teachers will have a sign-up sheet for back to school night, which is typically 2 to 3 weeks apart. So it's a real nice first step to that. And then the back to school nights will be scheduled with the parents starting that evening. Those conferences that are scheduled that night are critical, because that's now the back to school night's the group, and you might have a few sidebars, but the parent teacher conference is that one-to-one where you can really get into and share data and information and particulars about the students. So those are critical, and one happens in October, and I believe the other one's in February. There's one per semester. Certainly, I don't want to argue that one's more important than the other, but certainly the first one is really important to set everything up for between the teacher and the parent.
And really nothing to add to that. I mean, he explained the dates when they were, and we do the same thing at West Hills Primary.
You named a few of the benefits, but are there any other benefits to the conferences?
I would say maybe combined is something I may have forgotten back to school night. The more times a parent comes in a building, the more comfortable they are. So whether it's in a group or whether it's individually, what I've noticed, especially now this year, with Katanning Township, parents have been in. They've been fantastic. They've been to PTO meetings, very supportive. The more times they get in, the more comfortable they are with the building. And a lot of times parents will then feel comfortable enough, they'll come to a PTO meeting, or they'll get involved with more things throughout the school. So I think that's an important part of this that sometimes we don't think of parent-wise, just in how they interact with the building and the staff.
I think the individual parent conference with just the teacher and the parent, you get to review the data, where they are academically. You get to review their behavior, how are they doing in the building. And then also the share of how they're going to communicate if anything does arise, or if anything's positive, how do they communicate. So all of that's shared within a 15-minute real quick snippet, in the October meeting. And it is that beginning, or that addition to, I guess, to back to school night of, being comfortable to talk to your teacher when you're concerned about your child. So it's definitely a benefit.
Are all parents invited to these, or are they held for particular situations only?
The conferences, we invite all parents. Some parents, don't make it, or for other reasons, don't come, but everyone is invited, and there's time segments in the schedule set aside for those. And some parents, sometimes we end up with phone conferences, depending on certain situations. Parents can't make it, so we just ask parents, if they can't come, to please contact their teacher by some means, either whether it's through email or phone call, so there's some type of communication.
All parents are invited, and typically at the October parent conference, you have teachers meeting every 15 minutes with all parents. Now, February, when you send out the letter, if they're interested, you do get parents that may say, we're not interested at this time, just because academically they're doing well, behaviorally they're doing well. They're invited to come in, but a lot of times even the teacher and the parent will even talk over the phone and say, okay, we don't need to schedule anything at this point. So you get more one-to-one contact in that October conference than you do in the February conference.
Can parents request these meetings, or are they only contacted if a meeting is requested by the school?
They can request at any time. Obviously, as I think I mentioned earlier, we want parents. Sometimes a parent will call several times in a week and will say, sorry to bother you, and they're very respectful, but that's what we do. That's why we're there. And I always tell them, call every day if they want to, because the more communication we have, the easier it is to fix any issues, or whether it's behavioral or academic. So we encourage that, honestly.
And they can request at any time, and a lot of times, I do get that as well. I'm so sorry to bother you, and my response is, well, that's my job. I enjoy it. We'll get this worked out. So, they can request at any time.
Is the teacher's schedules flexible to be able to get back to the parents quickly?
Yes, they have a prep period, so to speak, every day. The other thing that the district's always allowed is they're flexible on the conferences. Some teachers do a Thursday evening, Friday morning. Other teachers do all day Friday. And the teachers are really good about working that out. Say if the conference is at 5 and the parent can't make it at then but can make it at 4, we're really flexible, and basically we'll do anything to meet with parents.
And I've had teachers contact parents over their lunch breaks, over their prep time, at the beginning of the day, the end of the day. So teachers are real serious about making sure they get back to parents.
If a parent wishes to schedule a meeting, how would they go about doing that?
Really, in any way. We get notes, we get emails, teachers will get phone calls, teachers will get notes. They can call directly to the office. So really, in any way, shape, or form, if they contact us, we'll set it up.
And not every time do we have to be involved either. There's times where a teacher will contact a parent, or a parent will contact a teacher, and they'll have a conference or a meeting without us involved. And that's absolutely fine too.
Is there anything else you'd like to add for the benefit of our viewers?
Well, I would just say appreciate you guys giving us time to talk about, and you're doing a great job, by the way.
Thank you.
We encourage, we've been very successful at Lenape, in my opinion, because of the parent communication and also the parent involvement. Whether it's PTO, whether it's back to school night, or whether it's conferences, the parents are really connected, and I just think that's made everything obviously go a lot smoother, and one of the big reasons why I think we've been successful over the years.
The only thing I'd like to add is I appreciate the opportunity to have me here from West Hills Primary, because I want that message to get out of, everyone is welcome in our building. It is a community building. We'll work it out to work with parents. I have an open door policy so they can see that, we'll do whatever we need to do to help kids.
I was just thinking of it's really just like high schools are the center of the communities, it's really the center of the elementary community, because every evening there's cheerleaders, there's basketball games, there's soccer games out in the field, there are community members on the playground. So it's great to see schools used almost in every possible way with parents, whether it's during the day or in the evening. So it's just a center of activity, which really is the way it should be.
Well, thank you two for being here
Well,
with us today. And that's our show for today. I'd like to thank our guests, Paula Berry and Tom Dinga, for taking time out of their busy schedules to give us an insight into the back-to-school nights. Our thanks also goes out to the TV production students of West Shamokin High School, led by their teacher, Miss Karen Coulter. They are our film crew today.
Please join us again next week for another look at Armstrong School District. Visit our website for updated information about the district, and have a great week, everybody.